Welcome back to Monsters, Legends, and Conspiracies, the podcast where we investigate mysteries, tall tales, and hidden truths lurking in plain sight. I'm Sarah, and today we're diving into a controversy that's been around for decades, but is still hotly debated. This isn't about ghosts or creatures in the night, but rather something we all use every single day: water. That's right. Today, we're discussing the Texas water fluoridation conspiracy. You might be wondering, what could possibly be mysterious about fluoride in drinking water? It turns out, quite a lot. For decades, many people have questioned the necessity and even safety of adding fluoride to public water supplies. But as with any conspiracy, there are deeper layers to uncover. Is fluoride really about protecting our teeth? Or is there something more hidden beneath the surface? Grab a glass of water, and let's dive in. Let's start with some background. Fluoride is a mineral that occurs naturally in our water, soil, and even in the food we eat. Scientists found long ago that fluoride helps strengthen tooth enamel, which prevents cavities. But in the 1940s, public health officials began adding fluoride to water systems in communities across the United States, claiming it would help reduce tooth decay on a massive scale. Texas joined the ranks of other states fluoridating water. But unlike other places, the Lone Star State has seen a high level of public resistance. Across Texas, people have questioned the practice, from Austin to smaller rural communities, where fluoride-free zones have become an ongoing trend. What's the real story here? Are the warnings about fluoride just paranoia, or is there something more sinister at play? To understand why some Texans oppose water fluoridation, we have to look at the origins of the practice. The idea of fluoridating water began in the early 20th century, with the discovery that naturally occurring fluoride seemed to reduce rates of tooth decay. By 1945, Grand Rapids, Michigan became the first city in the U.S. to add fluoride to its public water system. The proponents argued it was a public health breakthrough. Fluoride would fortify tooth enamel for entire communities, reducing dental decay for everyone, regardless of access to dental care. Soon, other cities and states followed, and by the 1950s, water fluoridation became common in cities and towns across the country. But the idea wasn't without controversy. Many people found it suspicious that the government was taking an active role in controlling what went into drinking water. After all, adding chemicals to water sources was, and still is, a big deal. But the health benefits seem to outweigh the risks, at least for the time being. In Texas, fluoride became a common additive in city water supplies by the mid-20th century. Supporters saw it as a cost-effective way to improve public health. But as the years went on, questions began to surface. Here's where things get interesting. The initial reaction from Texans was mixed, but as fluoride became more common, concerns grew. By the 1970s and 80s, opposition groups began popping up, questioning the health impacts of fluoride in drinking water. Let's talk about some of the most common concerns. Opponents argued that fluoride, while beneficial to teeth in small amounts, could be harmful in larger doses. Studies have shown that too much fluoride can lead to a common condition called fluorosis, which causes discoloration and sometimes even structural damage to teeth. Skeptics argue that over time, fluoride accumulates in the body, possibly leading to other health issues, including potential effects on the brain and the thyroid gland. Critics also point to studies suggesting links between high fluoride levels and lower IQs, weakened bones, and even cancer. Now, it's important to note that major health organizations like the CDC, the American Dental Association, and the World Health Organization still endorse fluoride as safe and effective when added at controlled levels. But for many Texans, those endorsements haven't put their fears to rest. So, why the continued opposition in Texas? Some believe that fluoride is not only ineffective, but possibly part of a larger, more sinister agenda. In Austin and surrounding areas, fluoride-free zones are becoming more common, and several Texas cities have voted to remove fluoride from their water supplies. But what's driving these efforts? For some, it's about health risks, while for others, it's a fear of governmental control over a vital resource. One of the key arguments from anti-fluoride activists in Texas is that fluoridation is a form of mass medication. This argument essentially says that by adding fluoride to drinking water, the government is forcing people to ingest a substance without their consent. Think about it. Unlike medications we choose to take, water is something we all need. This line of thought leads us into conspiracy territory, where fluoridation is seen not just as a health policy, but as a method of control. The belief here is that adding fluoride to water is less about dental health and more about keeping the public passive. Some suggest that fluoride has mild sedative effects, dulling critical thinking and making people more compliant. This idea first gained traction during the Cold War, when fears of government surveillance and mind control were at an all-time high. Some conspiracy theorists suggested that the government was intentionally using fluoride to keep the population in check, and over time, this idea has seeped into the fluoride debate in Texas. So is there any truth to these claims? There's been a lot of scientific research on fluoride over the years, and the consensus is generally positive. Most public health experts maintain that fluoride is safe in low concentrations and provides significant benefits to dental health. Studies show that fluoridated water can reduce tooth decay by around 25% in children and adults. But what about the concerns over cognitive effects or toxicity? While studies linking fluoride exposure to lower IQs or bone issues exist, they are often conducted in areas where natural fluoride levels are significantly higher than what's found in treated water supplies. These studies don't directly translate to fluoridated water levels found in the U.S., including Texas. However, opponents argue that these studies raise enough red flags to warrant caution. They question why the government continues to push fluoride, despite these potential risks. Some Texas residents believe that even if fluoride isn't part of a sinister government plot, the potential side effects are still too high a price to pay for its benefits. And then there's the matter of choice. In recent years, Texas cities, including San Marcos, Austin, and Wichita Falls, have seen movements advocating for fluoride removal. In some of these places, anti-fluoride groups have succeeded, leading to fluoride-free zones. In Texas, the anti-fluoride movement is still going strong. Cities like San Marcos voted to remove fluoride from their water in 2015, after a heated campaign by local anti-fluoride advocates. San Antonio, meanwhile, has managed to keep fluoride in the water, despite ongoing efforts to have it removed. Austin has seen years of heated debate over water fluoridation, with local advocacy groups pushing for removal, and even proposing alternative water systems for those who wish to avoid fluoride. The fluoride-free movement has gained a lot of momentum in Texas, partly because it taps into Texan values of self-reliance and skepticism toward government intervention. In the rural areas of the state, fluoride-free zones are a common trend. Texans pride themselves on their independence, and the idea of government-mandated fluoride doesn't sit well with everyone. In recent years, social media and online forums have played a big role in reviving the fluoride debate. Texas anti-fluoride advocates have used the internet to share research, organize protests, and even develop alternative water filtration methods. This digital activism has turned the fluoride debate into a grassroots movement, as Texans are increasingly empowered to make their own choices about what goes into their water. So where does this leave us? In Texas, the fluoride debate shows no signs of slowing down. The divide between those who believe fluoride is a public health necessity and those who see it as a violation of personal freedom is wide. Some cities and counties are leaning toward fluoride-free water systems, while others continue to support fluoridation, trusting the science and the endorsements from health organizations. As with many conspiracies, the Texas fluoride debate is ultimately a battle of belief systems. On one side are those who trust the authorities, the scientists, and the established benefits of fluoride. On the other, we have skeptics who question the government's role in personal health choices, concerned about potential long-term health effects and possible ulterior motives. The fluoride conspiracy in Texas reminds us that sometimes the biggest mysteries aren't creatures or hidden societies, but the choices we make about our own health and the complex relationship we have with government influence. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the Texas water fluoridation conspiracy. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, the fluoride debate is one that's not likely to go away anytime soon, especially here in Texas. Remember, stay curious, question everything, and don't be afraid to dig beneath the surface. Until next time, this is Monsters, Legends, and Conspiracies. Stay safe and keep your water filters handy, just in case.